Hey, it's Rob and welcome to Axel's Garage. We are working on the IROC again, trying to get it going for the season, and how we put it away at the beginning of the winter. We had planned, and my wife had planned on driving it probably into the winter as long as it wasn't snowing, but the reason why it went into hibernation was because she lost her brake pedal and it kept on getting lower and lower, and what did she do? Yeah, she kept on moving the seat up more and more and never said anything to me. And then my son got in it and he goes, "Dad, the brake pedal's all the way to the floor." And opened the hood quick, and there was just brake fluid everywhere out of the master. So the thing had it like it seems almost all vehicles that we buy secondhand had a neglected past. I didn't really troubleshoot it too much. I just said, "There's brake fluid all over the master." I said, "Chances are the master needs to be replaced. So let's just start there." We haven't even gone through the brakes, thoroughly yet. We didn't. I mean, the brakes have decent meat on them. The car stopped fine. We didn't do anything with the brakes. So let's start with the master, and then this year we're going to do shocks and springs, and then we might actually do new brakes on it as well. So to get it going, yesterday we played with the air conditioning a little bit, got that going sort of, but we're going to do the master cylinder today. So I got a master cylinder. I forget where I bought this one, but I'll link it in the description below. Robestus. Hopefully it's the right one. Hopefully it works. We'll see. So we're in the garage. Let's take the master out here. Looks like the right one. Very light. It almost felt like there was nothing in the box when I opened the box up. But we got the master here. It's aluminum. It's very, very light. So what we're going to do is we're going to put it in the vise. Let me get it clamped up on one of the mounting ears, and I'll show you exactly what we're going to want to do here. So I got the master cylinder mounted in the vise on one of the mounting ears, which is how they recommend. Actually, in the directions, there was directions and a little stop thing. The stop thing is saying that it needs to be bench bled first. And then it's got some instructions, pretty thorough instructions actually, and it's got these plugs, and they want you to do it, they give you instructions on how to bench bleed it without using any special tools or anything. I have these, and I don't know if they're going to fit. We're going to try them out, but I use these for bench bleeding masters. I believe they came with a master I might have bought years ago. So if they fit, we're going to use them. They have like a dual thread on them, so we'll see if they actually turn into any of these. Probably not going to fit. These are for like early master cylinders. Oh, maybe. These are definitely not fitting. So we're not going to be using these, but to use these, it's pretty cool. You put them back over in there, and you can get the air out that way. So we're not using these. I'm going to put these back in my toolbox. So we're going to do it the way the directions say. So the directions say, prop it up like this, put some brake fluid in the reservoirs, make sure the reservoirs are clean, there's nothing in there. Put some brake fluid in the reservoirs, and when it starts dripping out of here, then snug down and install these two plugs. So that's what we're going to do. So step one on the directions, and I'm using the directions that came with the Robestus thing. Like I said, I've never done it this way, but we're going to put some in there and let it sit for 7 to 12 minutes before you should start seeing anything coming out. So let me grab some of my brake fluid here. Regular .3 brake fluid. Alright, and I'm going to pour some in each reservoir. Alright, and I got the ports covered with about ½ inch or so, ½ inch, ½ inch of brake fluid. And I got a little bubble here or there. I'm going to let it sit. We're looking for brake fluid to start coming out of these two. When they start coming out of those two, then we're going to put these bad boys in. And it's probably two different sizes. That's why there's two different colors. Yep. So that one's going to go in there. Green is going to go in the back. And white is going to go in the front. All right. Is that going to fit in there? Maybe not. Well, I couldn't even film that because it was like 3 minutes and there was fluid dripping out on both sides. So I put the caps in, cleaned up the dripping mess, and now the directions are going to say using a blunt-headed bleeding tool, which I'm using a ½ inch extension, and I put a piece of tape on it that's 1 inch from the tip. It says stroke the piston 3/4 to 1 inch. When you stroke the piston, hold the piston in for 3 seconds, then let the piston return to the rest position. Wait 10 seconds between each stroke. This allows the fluid into the bore. Continue this message until you can only push the piston approximately 1/8 of an inch, and you don't see any air coming out of the reservoir. Note, let the cap rest on the reservoir during the bleeding process. There will be a stream of fluid coming up from the reservoir. This is normal. Can take up to 15 minutes. Do not rush the process. So they want you to put the cap on, but if you put the cap on, how are you going to see if there's air coming up? So I'm just putting a little more brake fluid in, and I'll keep an eye on the brake fluid. I'm going to push it slow. Let's see. Hold it for 10 seconds. And I'm going to let it go back in. Now what does it say? Wait 10 seconds? Wait 10 seconds? Hold it for how many seconds? Oh, hold it for 3 seconds. And then wait 10 seconds between strokes. So it's been 10 seconds at least. So I'm going to push it in. Wait 3 seconds. And then let it back out again. So I guess, oh, this one's leaking here. This stupid plastic cap is leaking, but that doesn't matter. As long as it's not sucking air back in. I guess instead of blowing the air out the bottom, what it did was you let it self-bleed to these, then close these, and now you're pushing the air back up through the top, which is the opposite way I've ever bled one of these before. So. All right. About 30 times. The front reservoir is not bubbling anymore. It's just, you'll see when I move the camera, there's just a stream of fluid which is coming up, and the back I believe has stopped. So I'm going to move the camera again. Right, so you're going to see here, if you let's focus on the front reservoir first. I'm going to push it in. You're going to see fluid come up, but there's going to be no air in it. See how that fluid came up when I pushed it in? Now this back reservoir, it takes more of a push to get it to come up, but if you look in the back now, if I could actually get the camera a little closer, you can see right over that hole. Right, so we're looking at this one right here, the back reservoir, and you push it in, and you start to see the fluid come up. Oh, I got a little tiny air bubble out of it that time. Like the end of the stroke is giving me a little tiny air bubble, but it's definitely, the piston's definitely not going in as far now. See, when I do it fast, I get some air. When I do it slow, I don't. And so we waited the full 10 seconds, and let's see. Fluid, fluid, fluid. Seems like it's all fluid. So out here at the master, yesterday I came out and I gave a shot of penetrating oil on the 2 lines and the 2 bolts back there. Now, try to find the appropriate size line wrench. And we want to crack these open. And these might be metric. These seem a little sloppy. Let me see if I grab the metric and oh, that's much better. 14 millimeter. 14 millimeter metric. Let's see if we can crack these open. So they're going to go that way. Of course, they're going to go the wrong way. Put it down here so I can pull it towards me. Be a little easier. That should be good there. Okay. Now they're loose, and now we got that back bolt. I believe that back might be a 15. Mounting bolts, yeah, 15. And then they're tight. Ah. These back ones, there's a torque spec for them. I think it's like 25 foot-pounds, something like that. But they are, they do have a nylon, looks like insert in them. A little swivel and a deep socket to come right out. Alright, so now that that's connected, we can unscrew these. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put this rag right underneath. Hey, how you doing? Alright. Going to clean out. There's some scourge. To vacuum this place out. Just bending the portioning valve out of the way. I'm just trying to clean up in here a little bit. This isn't critical, but while we got it apart, there was like some kind of scourge in there. Take a little white grease. Just like that. Just like I do with all the Jeeps is. A little white grease on these threads. Make the bolt go on a lot easier. And a touch of white grease on these threads. Just make sure you don't get them on the sealing surfaces. Just a little dab on each thread. I got the new master. It's about half filled with fluid. And tried to hold it level. We want to slide the master over the studs and then the bracket over the studs after that. So I'm just going to grab a nut and just try to start it by hand, push the bracket in. Start it by hand. Just sort of bent the bracket out of the way. while I could still move it around a little bit, is when we'll do these. So these guys here, see if they come off with a rag, or if I gotta grab a pair of pliers for them. Man, stupid plastic things don't want to come out. There we go. So I'm not cinching these down with this wrench. I just wanted to make it faster to So I just ran them down with the impact so that they bottomed. Now I'll tighten with my wrench, make sure it's tight. Now I'll take my line wrench and tighten the lines up. I'm just going to spray all this off. Okay. Well, now I'm just going to clean off my griminess. Now they say if you have a low pedal after doing this, there's two things you could do. They say you can bleed the master by cracking these like you would bleed with a bleeder screw. They also say that you might have to bleed your brakes. If you got the majority of the air out of the master, you shouldn't have to bleed the master. You might have to bleed the brakes.
Now what's that in there?
This is brake juice.
No, what's already in there?
Brake juice that I put in.
Oh. Now how come you don't like refill brake juice like antifreeze and oil?
Brake juice shouldn't leak out.
Oh, it keeps recirculating?
Yeah, unless you have a problem. Well, same thing with antifreeze, but a lot of times you got little antifreeze leaks here and there, especially in all cars. All right, press the brake pedal, Robbie, see how it feels. I'll check for leaks while he does that.
There we go.
Press it a couple times.
First one went all the way to the floor, and now it's set.
All right, so he said first one went all the way to the floor, now it's good. I like that. I can live with that. The pedal's low. We're going to try to do a little bleed here. Pump it like 6 times and then hold it to the floor.
Now it's tight.
That's okay. Pump it 6 times, hold it to the floor. Good?
Now I'm holding it to the floor.
Okay. That was all fluid out of that one. Alright, good, hold it. Ooh, got a little air out of that one. Pump it 3 times. And hold it. Good. Hold it. No leaks, little fighting, not too much. Big Dummy's gonna go for a ride. Pedal feels a little on the low side. He's gonna go for a ride. We're probably gonna have to run through all the wheels and just do a full bleed on it. But right now it's covered in pollen from being in hibernation, so he's gonna go for a little ride around the blocks a little bit just to see how it feels. We'll wash it off and then we'll explore bleeding out the brakes after that. Hope you enjoyed the video, changing the master cylinder on a 88 IROC, pretty much the same on any 3rd gen Camaro, Firebird, you know the deal. Comments, criticisms, suggestions down below in the comment section. And as always, thanks for watching.